How you doing, folks? In this video I'm going to show you a really simple technique with this guy. He's from the Conquest magazine. It's one of Citadel's push fit models, and there's been some talk recently about how push fit models are static, you can't do anything with them, or you have to be particularly skilled in kit bashing or converting to be able to do anything with these other than, you know, what Citadel have told you to do with them. It's not entirely true. Yes, you do need to have a certain skill if you want to drastically change your model. But for argument's sake, with this model here, this is the Sergeant from the Conquest magazine, issue number 1. Now, if I just push this piece onto here, if I can actually get it on, which is is a challenge in itself. There we go. I haven't pushed him right on, but you can kind of see, yeah, that this gun arm, if you know really, I mean, it's not focusing very well. The autofocus is a little temperamental, as you may already know. But that gun arm is kind of covering up a lot of that helmet, and if you want to paint that, it can be a little bit of a pain to get in there to highlight that helmet and so on and so forth. So I'm going to put this model together in a way that helmet is easier to paint, but also show you how simple things are really not that difficult to do with these push fit models. Alright, let me explain. Come and have a look. Alright, so you can see, alright, that the that gun arm is a little bit in the way of the helmet. So what we're going to do is, you should already have a pair of clippers with these flat bits. That's how you get them off the sprue. Alright, this lug here where the arm connects into, we're going to chop that off. Right, nice and simple. Chop it off just like that. No, not a problem. I mean, that's nice and smooth, but we can come in and we can clean that up anyway. Young ones, make sure you're being careful with the knife, of course. Alright, so that's nice and smooth on there. Okay, so how I'm going to connect this arm is, rather than having it pointing down like that the Citadel wants you to do. My phone went off. Rather than having it pointed down over the helmet like that, which is a bit in the way, we're just going to lift it up. So he's now pointing up. You see that? And to do this, what we're going to do is, I would suggest for this, is plastic glue. Now, this will weld that joint together. You'll never take that off again. So when you put it on, make absolutely sure you never want to take it back off again. If you think you might do, you could do super glue for this. But when you're changing the model, I would suggest plastic glue, just for that extra bond. Okay? So what we're going to do is, this is, now normally the peg would go in there and there's lots of surface, whereas this time we've only got like around that hole that will be touching the model, and that's why I'm suggesting plastic glue. Alright, so what we want to do is, I'm just going to make sure that this is coming out easy enough, and then just slowly just add a little bit of glue around there. Alright, just very gently. You do not need a lot, and that will gradually start melting that plastic. And then as we touch it against this Sergeant here, it will melt the plastic at the shoulder joint. Now we do need to hold this for about 30 seconds or so, just so that the chemical reaction can take place, both sides start melting and then start fusing together. Now it won't necessarily need 30 seconds, but you do need to be careful with it for now. But you see that? There's absolutely nothing wrong with that, and it's, you know, something, you've now changed the model to a degree. Yeah, okay, it's not the most drastic of changes, but it's just something you can do that, one, makes painting this helmet much easier, but two, if you happen to have exactly the same model lying around, you've now got one guy with his gun pointing down, and you've got one guy with it pointing up. You've got two different models. Okay, there's much more complicated things you could do, but on the whole, there we are. Alright, so let's finish this one off. Yeah, I mean, it really is. It's that simple, and he's now pointing up. Um, if you're a veteran to this hobby, you probably wouldn't need to watch this video anyway. But if you've got more models knocking around, perhaps you've got 2 or 3 spare bits lying around in a box or two that you've picked up before, especially if you're new to the hobby, you could swap that entire hand out. You can swap entire arms out, and I might do a video about that in the future. And then you can change the weapon in as well. You can add, change this hand for a sword, or change this one for a sword, and he's still pointing. You could lift this arm up, change that into a sword, which would obviously be pointing, back over his shoulder. He's holding a sword over his shoulder and pointing. It's kind of, the possibilities are endless, and they're really simple techniques to do. So, yeah, have a look out for some more of these in the future, where I'll just show you some really simple kit bashing techniques, really simple conversions that just change ever so slightly, that do not take much to make happen. Alright, so I just thought, if you've got a few of these episode 1 issue 1 Marines lying around, you can change them. Alright, so there we go. Feel free, if you check out the bottom, don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you've liked it. If you've liked this, please throw me a like down there, and let me know. That's what it's there for. If you've got any suggestions about things you want to see, feel free, throw them in the comments, because I'd love to get a list together of all the videos that you guys want me to make, rather than trying to make it up as I go along. Feel free to have a look at the links. I'm on social media all over the place. You'll see all sorts of bits and pieces going on around there, and also down at the bottom there is the Patreon link that you can help support the channel for as little as $1 a month. But do not feel obliged to do anything of the sort. Do so at your leisure. And that just leaves you to say, well, thank you for watching this one. I'll catch you in the next one. Dara.